Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Tiger 1, the most feared tank you would probably come up against if you were on the Allied forces in World War II, as this thing's 8.8cm gun, when it was developed, was pretty much capable of destroying any Allied forces vehicles easily. This was an 8.8cm flat cannon that I think was originally used to shoot down aircraft, but then they started mounting it on the tanks, and oh boy, did this gun do some really impressive things. In fact, vehicles like the Sherman Firefly, carrying the 17-pounder, were all created with that specific gun just to be able to penetrate a vehicle like the Tiger 1, because yeah, this thing had some pretty impressive armor as well for the time when it did come out, and pretty much bounced any Allied forces when it first came out until more substantial and superior guns were formed to be able to take out the Tiger 1. Now, the Tiger 1 you actually won't be able to find anywhere apart from the Tiger 131, which we are going to be playing in today's video, because I figured, you know what, let's talk a little bit about the Tiger, as well playing in the vehicle, because I got nothing better to do. It's Blitz, so why not talk a little bit about history and enjoy the game at the exact same time. Now, the Tiger 131 is actually the last working Tiger to I'm aware in the world, which is pretty dang cool, and it's in the Bovington Tank Museum. In fact, a really fun fact about the Tiger 131 is that it was actually used in the movie Fury, and it was the real last working Tiger 131 they used in the movie. That's pretty cool. They, of course, put a bunch of shielding around it, and I think they actually put little bits of cardboard and spray painted them because they didn't want the actual tank to get damaged when they were using it, but it's still awesome to think that they actually used the real working Tiger 1 in the movie Fury, which I actually really think is awesome. I can bet, though, that that was a pretty nervous thing, knowing that we're using the last working vehicle of its kind, and yeah, we don't want it to break. Now, this is actually what the Tiger 131 looks like. It had this kind of camouflage. I don't know what it would really be used for, maybe like muddy terrain, that kind of area, hidden in the bushes, something like that, because yeah, a dark, musty camo like this probably wouldn't be used anywhere in green, luscious areas. I don't know. They might have put bushes on it and stuff as well. I know that's something they did in World War II, is they'd put bushes over the Panther tanks and paint them kind of green. That way it would look just like a tree. They'd put branches over it, and that way the commander could drive the tank behind a group of trees and have just the sights out open on the top, with it looking like a normal tree until, of course, you got close enough. Now, the Tiger 131 isn't the best vehicle at Tier 6 and Blitz. It's not nearly as feared as it would have been in real life. If you saw this tank in real life, yeah, you'd be, there'd be a little bit of poo coming out of your pants, which is pretty true. But, yeah, in World of Tanks Blitz, it's not bad by any means. It carries an 8.8cm, which does do pretty good damage here. You'll see that we're easily going to be getting right through the enemy armor there. We're already at about 430 damage. The 225 alpha is really nice at Tier 6, and it lets you pretty easily penetrate enemy opponents, like that Stritzwagen 74. We've already done 630 damage. As well, this vehicle has decent damage per minute for the tier that it's in. Let's get a nice shot into that M6, but yeah, we do have a bit of an issue right now. I will say this tank also has decent armor for the tier that it's in as well, and okay. As you can see, Wargaming also dislikes me a little bit, but you know what, we're getting some nice shots out, so we're doing our job here. I think the mantlet on this vehicle is decent, but it looks like the enemy tank managed to perfectly miss my mantlet, because that's just my luck. So, yeah. Hello, Jagdpanzer 4. How you doing? We're going to try and shoot this ARL, which is running the... What is that gun? I can't tell. You also notice the shell velocity is not great on this vehicle. I think in real life, the Tiger 1 was able to shoot 3,000 meters and still accurately be able to destroy most Allied forces. That's pretty impressive. That's really impressive. Now, I could be wrong on that. Let me know in the comments, because you guys sometimes know, at least one of you knows more about this than I do. I'm not the biggest history guru. I just like knowing, you know, little bits and facts of most tanks, especially some really cool vehicles. But I will say, as cool as the Tiger 1 was, I don't necessarily like the idea of running into one in World War II. I wouldn't have been so happy to see one. Now, we've already done 2,000 damage this game, which is pretty good. And I want to help out this KV2. Let me see if I can save him. I am here for you. And, oh, actually, he did it. Pretty impressive. I'm very surprised that that KV2 managed to kill the guy. Sometimes you can penetrate that cupola on the roof of the ARL, but sometimes it doesn't work. It's weird. It's a very weird weak spot. But we'll see if we can get some shells into the Tiger 1. I don't know. We're trying to, but at the same time, I have to speed. Here you go. Ramming speed. This thing also weighs a lot, you'll notice. It's actually a very hefty beast for a Tier 6 heavy. So all in all, the Tiger 131 really isn't a spectacular tank, and Wargaming asks a lot of gold for this vehicle, which I really don't agree with. I love the fact that they released the Tiger 131 because I've always loved, especially the historical fact behind some of the tanks in Blitz, and I do find it cool that you can play this vehicle, and technically at tier 6, these are the kind of tanks you'd be going up against. At tier 5, the T-34s, at tier 6, the T-34-85s, the 85mm armament was capable of punching through a Tiger's armor occasionally. So, statistically speaking, it's actually placed at about the right tier for the time period that at least you'd be playing at. But I just kind of wish that they didn't make the tank so overpriced. I think the first time it came out, it was like, what, $30 for a tier 6 tank that you could have gotten for free a couple of years before on the Kuromori mine, which doesn't make sense at all. And there's also the Icebreaker now, which you could have gotten for $5, but they still try milking this vehicle for at least $20 when it comes in the store. I definitely don't agree with that. I wish that Wargaming would just make this tank a flat price, a pretty cheap price as well, or they could just make the Tiger 131 a camouflage. That way, you could spend 1,500 gold, but instead they released the special camouflage, which I think you got if you went on the Intrepid, which I wished I went to that event. I remember when Wargaming was holding the event, and you could have gone. It was the Gamescom 2017 or something, one of the Gamescons, and I could have gone there because, of course, I live very close to the Intrepid, like 30, 40 minutes away. I would have loved to have gone to the Gamescom. That would have been something I would have loved to, but, well, I guess they released the camo either way, so I guess I could fool some people into thinking I actually went there. Let's try and get a nice little snap into that Bulldog. We've already done about 450 damage. This is the one nice thing I love about Alpha at lower tiers, is you really have the ability to get that big old whop into the enemy tanks. Like, even though you might not have the most DPM, you got a decent DPM to be fair in this tank, but you don't carry the most damage per minute, you don't have the most penetration, but just carrying Alpha feels good. Being able to shoot, half of that, or half of tier 5's hit points away in one shot feels pretty dang good. Now that SU-100Y there, ooh, he didn't shoot at me, thank lordy. I don't want to get hit by that SU-100Y, one of the deadliest tier 6s you will come up against. Oh, there you go. That's wonderful German accuracy, but let's go for the P-43. Maybe we can get some nice shells into him. Speed! 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 Can we H him in the rear? I'm actually surprised we couldn't. We're probably not going to be able to finish off this P-43 because, well, yeah, he's not doing too fancy. So they got 2 tanks left. They got the Dicker Max and as well the Leo. And, well, we're going to see what we can do. Maybe we can get a shot into the Dicker. No, we can't. We do have the Leo, though. Hello, Leo. How you doing? Let's high roll him and finish him off. You know what? It was a high roll. I'll take it. I was a little bit bummed out that we didn't kill him, but I'll take a 240 roll any day when I'm running this tank. So, nonetheless, you can see that it's not a bad vehicle. We did a pretty solid job this game, and even though we didn't get out the most damage, just because, oh my god, trick shots, Tiger over here. We're doing a half pipe, but yeah, even though this tank isn't the best vehicle, it still does hold a very good place in my heart because of the historical aspect it has in World War II, and as well, it just looks great. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I wish that they'd make this vehicle a lot cheaper because it really is a cool tank, especially because you can see that it's really not the highest of quality camos. The Kuro Honesty looks better because it doesn't really have a camo. And you can see that the Kuro is literally, oh, I misclicked. The Kuro and the Tiger 131 are literally the exact same model. There is not a singular difference you can pick out between them apart from the camos. So, yeah, I do have to say that as much as I love this tank, if you have the Kuro, there's really no point to buy it. But hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. Other than that, though, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.